The trailer to the new Thunderbolts movie, a new MCU film, has been released. It's kind of like the Avengers B team. So it stars Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow. She was first introduced in the lackluster Black Widow movie. David Harbour as Red Guardian, introduced in the same film. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina something Fontaine. She's kind of the Nick Fury hero assembler character. Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. Wyatt Russell, introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He was briefly Captain America. He lost that position and became US agent. Louis Pullman as Sentry and Olga Kurilenko as Taskmaster. Now, having looked at the trailer, the film looks okay, actually. I'm not seeing anything really special here, mind you. It doesn't look great. By that I mean visually, it's so dull with this bland, greyish, desaturated colour palette. Remember when superhero movies looked like this? Give me some colour, please. Some life. Remember when scenes were well lit? Look how dull daylight is in this film. It was also like this for Secret Invasion. I've seen this in a few films now where there's so much black in the image and the characters are already wearing dark clothes. The colour palette is so desaturated and the lighting is so poor, deliberately it seems, that when the camera cuts to a new shot, it can be difficult for the eye to know exactly where it's supposed to be looking, right? So we don't exactly know immediately who or what we're supposed to be focused on. I really hate that about modern cinema these days. I hope it's an annoying trend that ends soon. So the story is that these characters have all done bad things. They've been assassins and contract killers. Someone now wants all of them dead. So that's the basis of the story. And it looks like Bucky Barnes is turned against them at some point. I don't know. I'm not going to complain needlessly about what I've seen in this trailer, okay? Because there is actually only one thing that really bothers me. So in the trailer, Valentina something Fontaine, she gives a speech and she says, "We're brought up with this belief that there are good guys and there are bad guys. But eventually you come to realize that there are bad guys and there are worse guys and nothing else." Now, I think some of you knew I was going to talk about this. So this is the moral relativist trend again, rearing its ugly head. So we've seen this in Hollywood over and over for the past few years. Now remember, recently with The Acolyte, one of the themes of that show was a more grey area morally between the Jedi and the Sith and the light and the dark side. Bounding into Comics remarked about this back in April of 2023 when The Acolyte star Charlie Barnett said, "The best parts about Star Wars is there is no good or evil, depends on what side you're standing on. This moral relativist philosophy flies in the face of the clear-cut distinctions between good and evil that are supposed to be at the core of Star Wars." Likewise, we're seeing this now in Rings of Power, where they're trying to make Sauron this sympathetic character. There's all this shipping for him and Galadriel, right? There was this line in season 1, sometimes to find the light, we must first touch the darkness. No, it's possible to see what evil is without partaking in it. It's possible to see evil a million miles away, in fact. If you raise children correctly, that is. Modern Hollywood loves this for some reason. Shades of grey morality, where there is no good or evil. The problem with this is there is evil in the world. There are bad people who have terrible agendas. And by not reinforcing positive depictions of morality, by not explaining to young people the perils and dangers of evil and its deceptions, by not showing them the importance of values, they can become easy prey for wicked people. Or worse, they can become wicked people themselves. Fontaine's speech in this trailer is so utterly stupid. I mean, what are you suggesting? That there's no good guys anymore? What? When did this happen? This is supposed to be a superhero franchise. Emphasis on the word hero. What kind of messed up moral framework is this? This is the big issue with allowing children to watch these kinds of productions, in my opinion. And I would argue that part of the soullessness of so many recent MCU productions is that they're all lacking the moral conviction that they once had, the conviction that inspires people to greatness. And if we want to get deeper with this, we could talk about it from a theological perspective, even a Christian point of view. Now, you can look at it purely in philosophical terms. I hope I don't turn off too many people when I talk about this stuff. But by creating a world where people don't abide by or aspire to goodness and the light, what happens is they are saturated in an environment that is morally bankrupt, and so they are prone to sinning, okay? So it's like having pollution and toxins in the air around you. You're going to get sick. Okay. Likewise, the very absence of values and strong morals is a pathway to darkness for the individual and the society. And where the society goes, individuals follow because, for the most part, people are followers. And in a cyclical fashion, where an individual goes, that reinforces the direction of the society and culture at the macro level. So this is why moral absolutes are so important, and they're supposed to exist. This is why traditions and standards are supposed to be the pillars for our civilization. This is why we uphold them. This is why we protect them. Now, if you think I'm overthinking this, tell me why this moral gray area relativism trend keeps appearing in Hollywood. And I'm sure you can think of other examples of this, and you can leave those comments below. The key message that young people have to learn as they grow up, and what they're supposed to understand, is that evil wins in our world by default if good people stand by and do nothing. That's why heroes are supposed to exist. And that's why we write stories about them and why we write cautionary tales for children. That's why we used to champion and celebrate values like delayed gratification, self-sacrifice, self-reliance, empathy, compassion, courage, duty, honor, being brave, love of one's nation and homeland and family, God, not giving in to temptation, our connection to our ancestors, all these things. Upholding these things keeps evil at bay. Removing these values, redefining morality, unpacking it, transforming it, deconstructing it. This is how the devil gets in the door and how good is neutralized. As the saying goes, the devil's greatest trick is convincing the world he doesn't exist. It's just like that with evil. It bothers me immensely how these sinister messages are creeping into media and seemingly going unnoticed or unchallenged. Instead, children are not being given solid role models to aspire to. They're being given these ruthless, dark, broken anti-heroes riddled with self-doubt who are all too often sitting down and breaking bread with evil. The timeless archetype of the hero and his or her journey has always been at its most compelling when we know that evil has it easy. Good does not have it easy. The good guys have the odds stacked against them. That's what makes them heroic and noble. It is hard to stay on the path of righteousness. That's why it's worthwhile. That's why we relate to stories where the hero has to undergo a major personal transformation to be humbled, to fall and rise again and return stronger, to climb out of the darkness and hopefully save the day. This is why the theme of redemption is such a significant part of Christianity, because it's about the individual's atonement for their past sins. And that's something that has worked its way into the stories that we like to tell ourselves about ourselves and the stories we want to imagine ourselves in.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
We want to go on that journey with the hero. But hey, I'm just overthinking it, right? Come on, Dave, stop being so cringe with all this morality talk, right? It's just a movie, bro. It's just a movie, but the moral gray area narrative keeps being pushed over and over again across multiple franchises. Boy, I wonder why. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.